Hello everyone, here we have a 2000 Toyota Camry with a 2.2 liter engine with a customer complaint that there is a lack of power and acceleration, and at times the engine stalls when it comes into a stop. Usually the problem occurs while driving under load. So we're going to do a test, but to check the performance of our engine. That test is called a vacuum test. The vacuum test at idle, it will tell us a lot of information about our engine performance. So I currently have a vacuum gauge connected to the intake manifold of this engine. I removed the hose that goes to the brake booster, so we're plugged in to measure manifold vacuum. And then what we're going to be looking for is at idle, when the engine is running, a good engine that has good compression, good airflow mixture, no vacuum leaks, ignition timing is proper, and valve timing is okay. You're going to measure around 17 to 21 inches of vacuum, and the needle should be steady. That's what we're looking for. So we will start the engine and we'll see how much manifold vacuum we have. So we're getting a vacuum reading of 17 fluctuating to 18. Little fluctuation. You might see little fluctuations on most engines like this. The steadier the better. So we have at least the minimum 17, and that's at idle. But there's another test that you could perform, which is at 2500 RPMs. Vacuum test at 2500 RPMs checks engine breathing quality. So I'm going to raise the engine RPMs to around 2500 RPMs, and we're going to hold it there. The vacuum should remain the same as idle or increase. The vacuum should not drop. If the vacuum drops, the engine is not breathing properly. So at 2500 RPMs, we're checking engine breathing quality. So if I raise engine RPMs, that is at 2500 RPM. Let it idle, and you should be able to stabilize again. This is engine idling, and it's measuring 19 inches of vacuum. The needle has a slight fluctuation. Notice how the vacuum kind of fluctuates. It's dropping a bit. Ideally should be as steady as possible. So now we're going to do another test. It's the vacuum test at 2500 RPMs. If the vacuum drops, you have a possible restriction on the exhaust because your engine is not breathing properly. So vacuum should stay the same or increase. So let's raise the RPM and see what we get. Vacuum increase, staying at 20. Notice how that vacuum drops. It's dropping. I'm going to let the engine idle. So let the engine stabilize. Notice how the engine starts to kind of misfire. It started okay, it was idling fine, but now it was misfiring. So now it's stable, the engine at least, and it's at 19, fluctuating from 18 to 19. So I'm gonna raise the RPM again. And just remember, vacuum should remain the same as idle or increase, but it should never drop. So let's raise the RPM again. It drops to 5 inches, and the engine's running rough and wants to stop. Let it idle, and you have a steady vacuum. So what this means, with this vacuum reading, it means that we have a possible exhaust restriction. So in order to confirm this exhaust restriction, we're going to do another test. This test is called a exhaust back pressure test to confirm a restricted exhaust. What we have here, it's a exhaust back pressure tester. We're going to hook up the exhaust back pressure tester to check for any possible restrictions on the exhaust. In order to do this, we need to remove our oxygen sensor. So we're going to remove the oxygen sensor and connect our adapters. This is an adapter that will thread into the O2 sensor, and that's where we're going to hook up our gauge, and we're going to start a car, and we're going to look for a reading. So let's go ahead and do this setup. So let's go ahead and remove the oxygen sensor. We have the sensor unplugged. Then we're going to use an oxygen sensor socket. Alright, so here's our oxygen sensor. This is the adapter that we're going to thread into the exhaust manifold. It's the same thread pitch as the oxygen sensor. It has a rubber O-ring, and when we install this, we're just going to thread it in, and it's just going to tighten it snug. You're not going to have to force it, because that O-ring is going to create a seal. And then we'll do our test. So thread it in, and it's just snug. Now we're going to hook up our hose to our pressure tester. Make sure it stays nice and locked. So here's our pressure gauge. And if you look, we have two tests. One is at idle and one is at 2500 RPMs. At idle, as you can see here, it should not exceed 1 psi of exhaust back pressure. Then when we raise the RPMs, the maximum you will get at RPMs that is acceptable is 3 psi. And average most engines are going to give you around 1.5 psi at 2500 RPMs. So once it goes above 3 psi, that will indicate you have an exhaust restriction. Alright, so now that we have the exhaust back pressure gauge connected, let's start a car and let's see how much exhaust pressure we have. And this is what we currently have at idle. At idle we have a little bit of At idle, we have at least 1 psi of pressure. So now let's raise the engine RPMs and let's see how much pressure we have. We're going to raise the RPMs to approximately 2,500 RPMs. If I let it idle, going to raise the RPMs again. Now the engine stabilizes at idle. Roughly we're getting around 10-11 psi of exhaust back pressure when the max should be no more than 3 psi. So we have an exhaust restriction. Okay, so let's see both readings, vacuum and exhaust pressure. Let's start a car and see what we get. We have a steady 20 inches and exhaust back pressure is fluctuating about 1 psi to 1.7. So we're going to raise engine RPMs. Let it idle. Raise your RPMs one more time. And it stabilizes. So both of these tests are accurate. Vacuum test at 2,500 RPMs checks for exhaust restrictions. Whatever you have at idle, when you raise your RPMs at 2,500, it should either remain the same or get better, but it should never drop. If it starts to drop, we have an exhaust restriction. Back pressure gauge shows you the same thing, but this is going directly to the exhaust. You see how much back pressure we have. And at 2,500 RPMs, it should not exceed 3 psi. An average of most engines, you might get around 2 psi at 2,500 RPMs, 2.5 or so. But it should not exceed. And this one went all the way to 10 psi or slightly higher fluctuating. So you can confirm that we have a restricted exhaust. Okay, let's hook up a Borescope with a camera and see how does the catalytic converter looks from the inside. Well, I don't see any blockage. Well, we look inside the catalytic converter, it doesn't seem that it's clogged, but you also have to consider that some cars have more than one catalytic converter. There is a second catalytic converter downstream, so we're going to look at that catalytic converter too as well. Alright, so this is looking under the car, and we can see that we have a second catalytic converter downstream. So this catalytic converter could potentially be clogged. Alright, so now we're looking at our exhaust system with a thermal imaging gun. This is a heat shield. Right underneath you can see our catalytic converter. It's nice and hot. Let's look underneath the car. Alright, so this is looking at the exhaust manifold with a thermal imaging gun. And if we look at the rear cat, look how hot the cat is. This cat, it's approximately 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Here temperature drops to 156, 157, 121. What if you go straight to this cat? Here is the hottest. And right after the cat, notice how we also have a dropping temperature, 138 degrees. So this section here is where we have our majority of the restriction. So we have a problem with the downstream cat. Now we're looking at the exhaust manifold with our engine running. Notice how there's a big temperature change here. So we have a restriction here. And kind of move it, wiggle it. Keep going, keep going. There you go.
God damn.
There you go. Tap it. Alright, we finally got the cat replaced. And we're going to run a test again to verify the repairs. Alright, so the catalytic converter has now been replaced. So let's run the same test to verify our repairs. So let's start the car and see what we get. Alright, so now we have our engine idling and we're getting 20 inches of vacuum, exhaust back pressure less than 0.9 psi. We're measuring maybe like half a psi at idle. Now if we raise the RPMs at 2500, let's see what happens. At 2500 RPMs, we're getting slightly above 21 inches of vacuum, and exhaust pressure remains at half psi. Now we're reading great vacuum and good amount of back pressure. Alright, so that confirms our repairs. Catalytic converter was clogged.